Doing a video on division of fractions. Tried to find the hardest one that I could in the book, and this is what I came across. Now, it could be written like this, but it could also just be written like this. So that's my top line divided by my top line divided by my bottom line. Okay. Now, if you were to give yourself a very basic example, if you have half a pizza and you want to divide it amongst 3 people, you end up with the answer 1/6. How is that possible? Well, division, like you want to spread it out between 3 people, so you're going to multiply by 1/3. So the division changes to multiplication, and you flip your fraction. That's just a method that you would have had a look at, I assume, primary school. So I'm going to use that method here. So I have my top line. Now, divided by my bottom line. So I can't just flip my fraction because I have 2 fractions. So I need to get my common denominator and know the skill of making 2 fractions into one single fraction. So this goes in here, z plus 1 times my top number. So whatever way you do this, I'm pretty sure there's videos on it, different ways to do it. Okay. So now I'm getting it into one single fraction, and eventually I'll flip it. So I'm going to clean that up a bit. So that's z squared in the top plus z minus z squared plus z. And I'm actually just going to leave the bottom. Couldn't be bothered multiplying that out until I actually need to, just in case. That crosses off. And I end up with 2z on the top and z minus 1 by z plus 1. Now again, if you're confusing your z's and 2's, it might be worth putting in a little mark on your z, just so you know that it's a z, not a 2. You know, now it might look like a 7, so z. Okay, so now it's ready. The bottom fraction is ready to be flipped. So I'm going to change it to multiplication and flip it. I'm actually going to look at the right hand side here before I do that and clean this up. This is 2 fractions. I might as well get it into one single fraction as well. That goes in here, z plus 1. Again, whatever way you do this is your method. You just make sure that you're happy with whatever method you're using. And I multiply out, I clean it up, z squared plus z squared minus z all over. And again, I can't be bothered multiplying this out unless I actually need to. Okay, so that's what I have. 2z squared over this divided by this. So now I have one single fraction. Change this to multiplication and flip your fraction. So over here I have 2z squared all over z minus 1 by z plus 1. The division becomes multiplication. So I'm just going to put a little dot there for my multiplication. I don't want to be confusing myself with x's or anything. And I flip my fraction, z minus 1, z plus 1 all over 2 times z. Okay, top by top, bottom by bottom. So that's 2 by z by z by z minus 1 by z plus 1 all over 2 z minus 1 by z plus 1 by 2 by z. So all in its factors. And the reason that I have it in its factors is so that I can simplify. And the only way to simplify a fraction is to factorize it. And again, if you don't believe me, go back to your primary school method I'll actually just end up with the answer. And again, might want to make sure that you know what you've written. So it's a Z. So I cleaned all that up and I was left with just that.